Welcome back, everyone. It's Mike from Two-Headed Giant, where two heads are better or sometimes worse than one. So, the Mythic Championship is underway. It's actually concluded already today, and there were 8 decks, as I've been talking about in each of these videos. And today we're going up against, or talking about the very highly respected Azorious Aggro that has been kind of taking the Magic world by storm. This is a very interesting deck that has a lot of power. It's very fast and can just overwhelm you with creatures very quickly, and we're going to kind of go over how this is. This lost in the first round of the top 8 to a... Oh, which deck beat this one? This actually lost to Is It Phoenix, which fascinating, because I would have thought that this would get out under Is It Phoenix, but Is It Phoenix, I guess, must have gotten their removal and eventually thrown out their Murmuring Mystics and been able to top this list. But this is the deck that has been kind of running over things in Standard for the last few weeks, and so seeing it out in the first round of the top 8, really interesting. But still, hey, a top 8 finish, absolutely respectable. So the other decks, there were 3 mono blue, really strong deck. There was 1 Esper Control, as I mentioned, Is It Phoenix, Simic Nexus, and a Gruul Aggro, which is really mono red splashing green, and we'll be talking about what that is, but it's really a mono red deck with green options for control. So, or a few other things actually. But anyway, we're here to talk about Azorious Aggro. So, 1 Planeswalker, we've all seen this guy a bunch, Johnny. He's going to put counters on your dudes, make them bigger, make those attacks get through, make your exchanges with opponents' creatures way more favorable for you. Let's see here. Also, the fact that he can bring back a creature from the graveyard, you know, that's also, since so many of your creatures are creatures that are CMC 2 or less. So, this is just a rush of cards, though. 4 Snubhorns as a 1-drop. There he is. You know, once you get the City's Blessing, he's a 3/3 for 1 mana. Sky Marcher Aspirant gets flying once you have the City's Blessing. So, let's see here. 4 Dauntless Bodyguards. This helps your guys survive those board wipes or those any Wrath effect or things that burn multiple creatures. It's really good. Our 2-drop, only 2 Adanto Vanguards. I've been seeing a lot of people only doing 1 or 2 of these guys. They're kind of falling in popularity, but they're really good against a lot of decks, just for the fact that they are a pain to get rid of. The other 2-drop that's being more heavily favored is the old Tithe Taker, meaning that during your turn, it's costs them more to be able to cast instants and sorceries, which means that Settle the Wreckage now costs 5. This messes up a lot of decks. You know, if they've got that Vraska's Contempt, they have to cast it during their turn. Otherwise, it's going to cost them 5 mana. Then you've got your Benelish Marshal to pump all your guys by 1/1. And we've finally got the Venerated Loxodon, Convoke them, make all your guys bigger. This deck wants to be able to survive those Fiery Cannonades, those Cry of the Carnariums, those Golden Demises, those -2/-2 effects that would normally devastate this. It has multiple ways to be able to pump guys up between the Ajani, the Benelish, and the Venerated. So it does that pretty well. Then, you know, you've got 2 Baffling Ends. This is a way to exile any creature. You know, they can... Let's see... You know, it's only for small creatures, but this helps you win. This is going to help you win either in the mirror, against red, against anything that's fast. It's going to, you know, exile those Wild Growth Walkers and stop them from doing bad things to you and making your odds go down by a ton, which Wild Growth Walker does to any aggro deck. 3 Conclave Tribunals. You can convoke them in if you have to, but getting rid of anything, whether it's a Planeswalker or a creature, it's really good. History of Benalia, just stupidly powerful. I mean, if you can Wrath somebody before this goes off to get rid of the creatures, then great, that's going to give you a good chance otherwise. And if they resolve 2 Benalias, oftentimes it's just going to run you over. Legion Landing spits a guy out and gives you the ability to create as many guys as you need to later in the game to really make sure you get there and get that damage in. So you've got 12 planes and 4 of each of the Shock and Dual Land, Hallowed Fountain, Glacial Fortress. Very good, strong deck. So you say, why does it have the Hallowed Fountain and the Glacial Fortresses? Well, there is a little bit of stuff in here that is very good to counter some decks and the things that would shut this down. So those cards are, there's actually 1 Spell Pierce in here. It's great to be able to, you know, just use 1 extra mana for a counter to stop a Wrath effect. It's got 2 negates, same type deal. Now this deck isn't actually running any of them, but a lot of people are using it for that new creature, whose name I can't come up with right now, but he's a 1/3, he exiles any, I think it's any non-land permanent underneath him, and you know, it's another really good option, but it's not being run in this, so but it's something else to consider. For Tocatli Honor Guards, this is basically going to help you shut down a couple of things. Well, number one, it's going to stop Viashinos from hurting you from mono red, but more importantly, it's going to stop all of the things that Golgari / Sultide does. Chupacabra's become a 2/2 creature for 4 mana, no effect. It's going to stop all that Wild Growth Walker life gain. It's going to stop all the Explore effects. This really badly hurts Sultai and helps that matchup tremendously. There's so much hate for Sultai and Golgari now that I feel like it's actually not a favorable deck. It's still a very good, very strong deck. So we're 2 more Baffling Ends for the creature-heavy decks. It's a very good call. Helps you make sure that you stay ahead on creatures and cards and damage. So Disdainful Stroke stops your Planeswalkers, your Wrath effects. That's another reason for your blue. It actually has 1 more island. If you're going to side in your blue stuff, let's put 1 more island, go up to 21 lands, make sure that we get what we need. Let's see here. 2 more Ajani's. If it's you're trading creatures with more of a mid-range deck, that's another really good option. We've talked about Tocatli and Spell Pierce. Now, Unbreakable Formation, I think it's interesting that this is only on 1 of, and it's probably because it's 3 mana, and this deck sings on low mana cards, but the ability to give all your guys indestructible, whether you're attacking into a big wave of guys and you want to make sure everybody gets through either for damage or doesn't die off and you can do it again next turn, swing again next turn, and give them a 1/1 counter, another way to pump them up. Alternately, and the fact that you can do that at instant speed, although you only get the 1/1 counters if you do it during a main phase. But, you know, alternately, if you have to use this at instant speed in response to Akaya's Wrath or anything that would just kill a bunch of guys off, that's an incredible way to be able to swing a game on its head, on its nose, whatever. So anyway, this is Azorious Aggro. This was piloted by Marcio Carvalho. I think I'm mispronouncing his last name by a long shot, so forgive me, Marcio. Might even be mispronouncing your first name. This is one of the more powerful decks in Standard. I've had some success against it. I think I hit lucky draws with my Sultai, and I was able to bomb it out with hitting multiple Golden Demises followed by multiple Finalities, and after a while it just can't deal with all of that. I think it was like 4 of those in a game, and you know, had enough life from my Wild Growth Walkers to get by. But, you know, do you have any good success stories? You know, like I said, is it Phoenix managed to beat this, and it may have just been recurring creatures from the Phoenix being able to come out time and time again. Have you had success against this deck? If so, what did you do? I'd love to hear about it. We love hearing from you guys in the comments, and appreciate the thumbs up. It lets us know that you like these kinds of videos and that you want more of this, and we just love interacting with you guys. So, also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and we're going to keep plenty more coming your way. We're going to finish all the different deck types over the next few videos, and then we'll have some other new decks coming around. I'm glad to finally be getting some new content coming your guys' way, and hope you enjoyed. See you back next time. So until then, it's Mike from Two-Headed Giant, where 2 heads are better or sometimes worse than 1, and